cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day.
As always, coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. Let's make sure that we got everything ready to roll, buddy. I'm Thomas Leaguer. Nice to see you guys again. Thanks for rejoining the broadcast. And I want you to bear with me again. This is all delayed messages, all delayed everything. I got the audio problem fixed. So we're going to view... Actually, before I do that, I want to plug the shirt. The shirt I got on right now. Buy one. And you'll be supporting videos like you've seen, information that you've seen coming out of the Freeman Report. We're working with affiliates that are around the country now, and actually I have an interview coming up on Saturday with a man in New Jersey, a African American man who is fighting indoctrination into the LGBTQ agenda in New Jersey. There's nothing wrong with the LGBTQ agenda there's nothing wrong with LGBTQ as long as it is not pushed to the kids, as long as it's not pushed as a lifestyle choice onto children. I think it should be left to adults as they grow up to figure out their own lifestyle choices. I have nothing against people of that sexual orientation or persuasion, but it should not be pushed onto children. So we're going to talk about indoctrination into an anti-white, black nationalism, Sino-supremacy, Asian supremacy, pretty much anything that's anti-white, anti-straight white male rhetoric. Let me just square this away. So about a week or two back, Sun Prairie High School had a piece put out in the news about a teacher who disagreed with having to be forced to teach the Black Lives Matter movement in a favorable light in their homeroom classroom in order to celebrate Black History Month. Also, the fact that there are black nationalist colors, black nationalist flags across the school. These are things that aren't very good practice. So if you guys can sit back, it's going to be about a 25, 30-minute video. And then we'll go back to me, and I will take you through a PowerPoint presentation explaining what the colors mean on the posters, what Black Lives Matter really stands for, and how they're a smoke screen for the black nationalist agenda. So thanks for tuning in, and here we go.
Some people are finding a Sun Prairie High School teacher's Facebook post controversial.
Well, that post discusses the school's Black Lives Matter Week of Action and a presentation. Jamie Perez joins us in studio with more details. Jamie?
That's right. So we've actually reached out to the school for comment, but they are actually not commenting at this time. But I did speak with a parent who started a conversation online to ask how we can use this as a learning experience.
I'm a white male, and I am prejudiced. What can I do to change? To be a better American.
This video was shown as part of a Black Lives Matter movement presentation at Sun Prairie High School this week.
The presentation was about empathy, loving engagement, and unintentional bias.
Parents like Dan Hawk agree with the points made in this presentation, that this was something meant to focus on dealing with tough issues in a respectful and empathetic way.
Thank you so much for being honest. And for opening up this conversation, because it's simply one of the most important ones we have to have in this country.
A conversation that Dan said his kids found valuable.
They enjoyed it. They learned, they learned from it. They thought it was good. Obviously, they didn't think there was anything really wrong with it.
While they didn't think something was wrong, one teacher did. They took to Facebook to post this, saying they felt forced to promote the Black Lives Matter movement, bringing up Tony Robinson and Madison PD, and saying the presentation didn't mention anything about Blue Lives Matter.
It's wrong to have to bring up some other All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, when we're talking, the focus is on Black lives right now. Not to say that anything else doesn't matter, but right now we're talking about this.
The post was shared to Facebook to help start a conversation. Many parents who wanted to remain anonymous said they agreed with Dan's sentiments, saying the teacher missed the point.
As a parent, how did you perceive what she said?
Well, there's a lot of things that go through my mind. It doesn't show empathy. It doesn't. The same things that they were talking about and they were supposed to be teaching at the moment are the same things that she totally disregarded.
While this post is stirring up controversy online, Dan said he didn't share the post to get this teacher fired, but to ignite change and use it as a learning opportunity.
We need to have teachers maybe spend a little more time in some empathy training.
Get to know Black families.
Does anybody here know of or been subject to racism in Sunbury High School? Who's willing to share? I can raise my hand. So I'm about to have a very frank and honest conversation with the people who put this presentation together, because one of the espoused things that BLM does is that they intentionally dislike Israel, and as an Israeli citizen I have a problem with that. But outside of the national things, the international things that they do, what is it that their intent is here in the United States?
Just for anybody who's watching this video, this is Thomas Leager. I'm here with Jason, who we're gonna call Jason, a student at Sun Prairie High School. Is that the name of your high school?
Yes, it is.
So the first thing I want to ask you, Jason, is when you started, how long ago did you start Sun Prairie High School?
Okay, so I'm a junior right now, and we actually start in this high school when we're sophomores.
Okay, so you go to middle school up until 7th or up until 9th?
It's an upper middle school.
Oh, okay. All right. And so as you've gone through your school career, when you were in elementary, middle, and now Sun Prairie High School, did you notice this type of propaganda throughout your schooling?
I have definitely noticed it in 8th grade when my social studies teacher was talking about the Scandinavian model a lot, praising it a lot. He was like, "Oh, it's a mix between socialism and capitalism. It's the perfect mix." Obviously, it's not the truth. It's basically capitalism with a bunch of welfare, and he never pointed out any sort of flaws. That was minor though. That was just one teacher. It really got prevalent when I got to the high school.
Okay? So since you've been there, so how long have you been there now? You've been there for 2 years, going on 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
So since you've been there, what have you noticed? What things have been kind of disturbing to you as you've been there?
Well, first off, a lot of the teachers are pretty much commies. The librarian was, during one of these study halls, we were in the library, and the teacher was talking about how, like, she made like this portfolio for something and put like Karl Marx quotes in it. It was really weird. It's really, really prevalent this year because we have these things called advisories. What these are is every day for 30 minutes, you can go to a class and do something. You have to sign up for it 2 weeks in advance. But every Monday, you have to go to the homeroom. And the school decided it was a really good idea to push this. They were pushing, they're telling us stuff about Black History Month, except they decided to use Black Lives Matter as a model for some reason. I don't know what went through their head.
So I want, before we get farther into the whole Black nationalism, Black Lives Matter, Black identitarian stuff, do they offer, do you see a lot of pro-capitalist, pro-America offerings on that advisory?
No, not at all.
So they don't, so you can pick what you want to do, so you don't have to go to this socialist, communist stuff. But they don't offer anything that's pro-capitalism. There's no option for a pro-Western, pro-capitalist person. There's no option for learning about that.
No, not really. There's economics and business. The econ teacher I have right now is like actually a communist, another communist, and you know, the business classes, they don't really talk about capitalism per se.
So even in the economics classes, they're geared towards socialist thinking.
I wouldn't say that. I would say the teachers are. You know, we just learn about basic economics and stock markets, but the teacher likes to plug her, you know, my free healthcare and my socialism.
Oh, okay. So you learn about the basics of economy, but as she teaches it, she tries to kind of interject her way of thinking, her way of viewing how economics should work.
Yeah, she's not really good at it, though.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, it's a whole different discussion, but if you look at economics, it doesn't fit with socialism. Capitalism is an organic market that happens organically, without a government, without anything. People interacting in commerce is capitalism. And socialism, you just don't get that, and it just doesn't work when you apply it. So, but that's a whole different thing. So recently you saw the Black Lives Matter stuff, and you sent me some pictures of posters that have black identitarian, black nationalist colors from their flag on it. First off, before I ask you any questions, to me that's unacceptable. That'd be like putting up white power posters in the hallway,
essentially,
or putting up posters with swastikas or colors from the Nazi flag in it. You know, things that are identifiably white power. So what are your feelings on it? And then explain the Black Lives Matter thing, and how that got in the news. Because I assume that was your high school where the teacher tweeted out not appreciating having to push that line of logic and then getting the tweet posted in the news.
Yeah, so essentially, oh geez, okay, hold on one sec. So I'm not a fan of it because they politicized it too much. If you look at the posters, they talk about how they're, for their Black Lives Matter week of action, they're hosting an advisory about diversity and globalism. So, and like collective values, stuff like that. So it's heavily politicized. They're basically, you know, they're under the guise of social justice and Black Lives Matter to push leftist propaganda, essentially. The teacher who put it on, I don't know who the teacher is, on their Facebook.
But that was from your school?
Yeah, that was from my school. They were talking about how they just didn't want to be forced to do it because every teacher had to like present this presentation that someone made. And
this wasn't optional. This was something that was mandatory throughout every class.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, even in the video that I recorded, the teacher said participation is mandatory, and he wasn't even happy with it because he was mad that Black Lives Matter has been anti-Semitic in the past, and he's Israeli.
And that's definitely true. I mean, a lot of black identitarians, you look at Khalid Mohammed, you look at Louis Farrakhan, 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 however you want to pronounce it. The Black Panthers, the new Black Panthers, And I saw that poster of that radicalized black rights movement or African American rights movement. It blows my mind. It'd be like saying we are going to have a week, and we're going to have a week to celebrate white history. And then during one of those days, we're going to have a radicalized white power day where we talk about Hitler and Mussolini and, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know the argument is, well, white people, every day is white people's day. I mean, that's obviously not true. It's a very flawed way of thinking. It's a very racist way of thinking. That creates more exclusion than it fixes. And then one more comment, then I'll let you go on with your stuff, is that forcing these teachers to talk about Black Lives Matter to me is horrible, because I'm against police violence and stuff, but I feel like BLM has taken a hard line on anti-Jewish and anti-police rhetoric. Do you see any of that come through? Is that something that's pushed during this Black History Week?
No, they basically kind of put the rose-tinted glasses on the movement. You know, they ignore the fact that in 2016, 5 Dallas officers were shot to death during a Black Lives Matter protest. They ignore that. They would rather just, radicalize you and have you join a freaking borderline terrorist movement like all these other identitarian groups.
So how does the rhetoric affect the school population? What are the kids' reactions to it?
It is horrible. There was kids wearing pan nationalism or those colors on their shirts. Mm-hmm. I've seen I had on a few people, they were always talking about, white people shouldn't have off during Martin Luther King Day. And this was on Snapchat because Martin Luther King didn't fight for them. Stuff like that. There was some more stuff. Even white students were just it was just they were basically crapping on white people, and they were, it just sucks. It's really annoying. They're essentially pitting the schools' races against each other.
I mean, it feels to me, that's gotta suck. I mean, making white students go through this, it's like a revenge thing almost. It's like, oh, so now you know how it feels to be marginalized. Do you feel like there's privileges for African Americans and students of color that isn't afforded to white students?
No, we're all treated equally, but it's just the rhetoric that the school pushes is just bullcrap, and it's politicized, and it's inherently leftist.
Say it. Please and thank you.
Come on, man, you wasted 30 seconds of her time. Shame on you, Mary. Shame on you. Shame. You can't even say the person's name correctly after they correct you. Shame on you, Mary. Shame on you. Shame. You can't even say the person's name correctly after they correct you.
First of all, rude as fuck. Anyways, this meeting starts at 6 p.m., but y'all are 4 minutes late. Yes, I did keep track. honestly, I'm tired of coming here. I'm tired of seeing all of y'all faces. Yes. Okay. Y'all are not listening to our demands when we're the community and the students. $360,000 is a lot of money, y'all, and you can do so much things with that that will benefit the students in the schools. But yeah, y'all chose to invest into more cops. Why though? Like, I mean, do y'all not know math? Like, we demand to take all cops away from school and not add them. Y'all ordered us by twice of our age already, and we know what's right and how safety looks like better than y'all. But yet, we're the one who's down here looking at our oppressors and letting y'all make the decision. That's fucked up. Here's something that still triggers me to this day. Oh, well, we'll put a police station in the school. That would be community control. No, that's some white control shit. The fuck? That ain't no community control. What kind of bullshit is that, Dean? We want you all to invest the $360 into yearbook colors, help those who want to study abroad but couldn't because of not having the money for it, help get every student free healthy lunch, help pay for driver's ed, help upgrade the water fountains in the bathroom in the classroom because those shits are nasty as fuck, everything that will benefit the students. I don't give a damn if y'all say something, oh, we'll have cops in school, but not have them in your uniform. Nah, what kind of stupid shit is that? At the end of the day, there's no cops that won't harm us. If y'all can't listen to the community, especially the students, man, y'all might as well give up on your seat and go home and drink some tea, and we'll show y'all what to do. We want our community control to decide what to do if there's any violence between students. We know what's best for us and how safety looks like. So we don't want those who are sitting up there, who are not even students no more, to tell us what safety looks like. And you see, I can be at home doing homework right now, watching some K-drama, eat all that shit. Mike Mentor over there can be celebrating his birthday today, but yeah, we chose to come here to fight for our students and fight for our community, and we push everything that is also important in our lives aside just to come here and see y'all white people ass bullshit faces.
On this issue, I am the community. You know, I was going to ask who you've been listening to, and obviously it's the usual suspects. It's these people, the derail the jail crowd. You know, they tried to shut down the Dane County Board of Supervisors with their clicking and their shouting and their chanting. Dane County Board of Supervisors, article recently that I think they're down to one conservative. There's no more liberal body in Dane County than the county board, not the school board, not the city council. But they, fortunately, the Dane County Board did not listen to these people. I've got to ask you this. Police, is that the problem in the schools? Is that what Karen Beef was talking about at Sherman Middle School? You know, you've got something called, I've never heard of this before, but a positive behavior support coach, hospitalized after breaking up a fight. Sherman is in chaos. You know, it wasn't long ago, I think there were 3 large-scale brawls broke out on February 19th at East, West, and Memorial High School. On La Follette High School has...
Silence white supremacy! 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 Silence white supremacy!
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, white supremacy.
I think you're you know, bad language.
Hyperbolic horseshit.
Bad language and bad manners often make bad policy.
Okay, we'll let the kid, white supremacist, finish.
Hyperbolic horseshit.
Yes, okay, white supremacist.
Well, in other words, you disagree, which is fine.
Okay,
On the night of February 20th, 150...
Okay, Tyrone, who supports white supremacy.
All right. On February 13th, 18 police responded to La Follette. 3 were injured. Cops did not start, police didn't start those brawls.
What did the ERO do? Why did he prevent it?
An ERO at La Follette High School disarmed a student with a loaded .22 caliber handgun. Now, if you want the average English teacher to disarm a student with a loaded handgun, go for it. But this is not what the people of Madison are talking about. This is not why Karen V's blog has gone viral. The schools are out of control. And by the way, I don't in particular care if more male students are suspended or arrested than female students, which is the case, that does not mean discrimination, folks. Is it so hard to believe that?
What we're talking about?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please.
We are in public comment.
Yeah, let's just
And
let this
so
finish.
if we're going to be in public comment, let's be consistent and respectful because every voice.
Well, it's not respectful for white men to call us these people.
Suspects. The suspects.
You should have checked.
Someone who pulls a gun is generally a suspect.
These people.
Someone who brawls is generally a suspect.
And this is what you want to control policy in our schools, right here. This is what you want. This resembles, by the way, too many classrooms in our schools right now.
No, you're not in many of our classrooms.
This resembles too many of our classrooms. Judging by all the teachers that are responding.
Hold on. Let's just, can you just finish your comments and then.
Well, I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
There's 20 seconds left.
But isn't that part of your
45 seconds calling us these people the suspects.
But you're not. You are quiet to Tyrone.
Murderers and criminal, Barbara. You okay with that? You rather let him get his races.
Do you think it creates more tension between races in the school rather than helps it?
Yeah, it definitely has created more tension. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have seen some, and it's just suddenly happening during the month of February, and it's just suddenly happening when the school starts talking about it.
And then throughout the rest of the year, you just get a lot of socialist stuff, but not so much racially based.
Yeah, we have debates in class. I had a current affairs teacher last semester. She had like a big old Planned Parenthood sticker on her laptop, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely looked at me funny when I was talking about pro-gun stuff. We had debates about that.
Well, and the thing is, if you're pro-African American, you cannot be pro-Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, because it kills more African Americans.
Yeah, well, not just that, but it was formed by a lady who was a eugenicist and saw not just African Americans, but the poor in general as human weeds that needed weeding out. You know what I mean? So, is there anything else that you want to add to this? Anything that you think is relevant? And especially, I wanted to talk about, they kind of ostracize that teacher in that article in the news, where all this person does is question the group that they use to push. And that reminds me of another question, another couple points that I wanted to get to. All he did was question the group that they use to push or bolster support for Black History Month. There's nothing wrong with Black History Month. There is something wrong with Black identitarianism, people who celebrate melanin supremacy or Black supremacy, Black nationalism. And we wouldn't push white nationalism. We wouldn't push any supremacist views on anybody or use the symbols that represent those supremacist views. But for some reason, when it comes to African Americans, using supremacist colors, symbols, flags that are not just reminiscent, but obviously targeted to be reminiscent of supremacist views is outrageous to me. So, do you know anybody that in your school that actually thinks the Black Panthers, that whole view, like are the Black Panthers portrayed as heroes in your school when they're talked about?
There was an optional advisory talking about Black Panther history by the same teacher who made a whole week of advisories based off the problems with capitalism. I think I sent you those images. You'll be able to see the Black Panther one. So I didn't go to that one. I just said, screw it. I'm done with this. I'm not getting involved.
Do you feel like if you speak out against this stuff openly, if you were to use your real name in this interview, do you think that you would be ostracized at school? Do you think you would be treated differently? Have you been treated differently for your views? Not just by the teachers, but by everybody in general?
I think I might be treated differently. I'm just more afraid of other people who aren't part of the school who would get pissed, honestly. I used to have a friend. We were really close friends. He found out I was a Trump supporter and he started calling me a Nazi. So, I mean, yeah, people are pretty crazy.
And that was at school, or that was just outside of school?
That was outside of school over the summer.
And what, did he try to dox you, or?
No, he just kept calling me a Nazi and got that whole small friend group turned against me.
So that's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
That seems pretty extreme. Geez, wow, sorry. So you do fear the so, and that's an example. I mean, whether it's in school or outside of school, the climate that the school creates even permeates to the outside of the school, because it's like this thinking follows people out, and as soon as they see you're a Trump supporter, you're then ostracized, and you can't even tell your side of the story without having to hide your name, hide your face, and stuff like that for fear of further attacks. So that's pretty intense to me.
Yeah, I know some guys who are very open about it, and they're, they get into like the Snapchat drama over something. There's like something over slavery that a black student got pissed off about. Basically, the same teacher I was recording the video was talking about, like, if you were a Roman, you'd become a slave if you did something. And then she was like, "Oh, what does he know about slavery?" And then the Trump kid was making fun of her, and it was pretty funny.
Well, that's the thing. There's been slaves throughout history. There's been many races that have been enslaved. In fact, the word slave comes from Slavic. The Slavic people were enslaved more than any people in the history of the world. And that's the thing. No, there was no reparations. There was no any of that. It was just like pick yourself up by the bootstraps and go forward. But I feel like this whole like opening up the wound and thinking that it's going to heal, instead of just getting past it and letting it go and dealing with things as they come, is really causing more and maybe planned division than anything. I want to thank you, Jason, for coming on and talking with me. Hopefully we can do further stuff and talk about more stuff that's going on at the school.
All right. Yep. Thanks for having me on. And I just have one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Identity politics they're just cancerous. All right. They're not worth your time.
I definitely agree with that. Thanks, Jason.
I say if they don't get out of town, we kill the men, we kill the women, we kill the children, we kill the babies, we kill the blind, we kill the cripple, we kill the crazy, we kill the faggots, we kill the lesbians. I said, God damn it, we kill them all. He said, well, why kill them all? Why kill the women? First, why kill the babies? They're just little innocent blue-eyed babies. Because, God damn it, they're going to grow up one day to rule your babies. Kill them now. Why kill the women in South Africa? I said kill the women because the women are the military manufacturing center. And every 9 months they lay down on their backs and reinforcement rolls out from between their legs. So shut down the military manufacturing center by killing the white woman. Why kill the elder crackers? The old crepit crackers in South Africa. How in the hell you think they got old? They got old oppressing and killing black people. I said, kill a cripple, kill a hellfire, kill them all. Kill the faggot, kill the lesbian. And after you kill them all, I said that day about Mandela to let you know what he really knows about me, don't know a damn thing. I said, then you go to the goddamn grave and dig them up and kill them a goddamn again because they didn't die hard enough. And if you don't have the strength to dig them up after you've done all that work, just go to the grave and shoot in the damn grave. Kill them again because they didn't die hard enough. I don't have no respect for Mandela.
All right, that's hard to watch. And I'm sorry for the last segment, but it is something that has to be brought up because what they are moving to, the colors on the posters that we saw in the video, our representatives were draped over that man's casket. Those colors were draped over that man's casket. The same man that said kill them all, the flag that was draped over his casket, that man represented those flags' colors, and those flags' colors are decorating the hallways of the schools in Madison and who knows how many other schools that they decorate the hallways of. This is black nationalism being pushed in the schools. And as you saw throughout the broadcast, we put in posters of pictures of the actual posters that were in the hallways of Sun Prairie High School, and yet they're going to condemn, a teacher's going to condemn another teacher for disagreeing and saying that Black Lives Matter shouldn't be the one to push Black History Month, nor should those colors, in my opinion, be used to push Black History Month, because the colors, what those colors represent, are not something that should be remembered, but like Hitler should be buried and only brought out to remind us how bad humanity can get. And the fact that we allow this kind of racism is representative of the fact that we are pushing ourselves into a South African mess. You know what South Africa is happening in South Africa? You will know, because we're going to bring you another expose on that. We have a video in the makings. The three biggest conservatives, the three biggest white farmers who are resisting the genocide going on in South Africa. And you notice Khalid Muhammad, what he said. He said, kill the white man in South Africa. And you think that that's where he wanted to stop? You think that Louis Farrakhan with his smiling, what does Islam say? What does it teach? It teaches that you can lie to the infidel to push Islam. For the glory of Islam, you can do anything in the name of Islam. So all these teachers of hate, all these collectivists, and we'll get to that. I'm going to do another piece on that school and talk about the collectivist propaganda, because we heard two big words that are being pushed in these in this school. There was a training session on diversity, collective values, and globalism. And we'll talk about what those represent later. But let us focus on the hateful rhetoric of this man. Now I'm gonna take you back to something here. I'm gonna put up my screen projector, so bear with me. And we're going to look at this presentation that I put up. So, public schools, leftist indoctrination. It is a hate-driven diversity. A hate-driven diversity. What does it say? You see it right at the top. Tuesday, February 12th. Diversity and globalism. All school kickoff in advisory. What are those advisories? I have pictures of them. They're the problem with capitalism. Talks about trans affirming, queer affirming, and collective value. So it's social justice, fascist collectivism, anti-freedom, pro-globalism, black nationalism, supremacist ideologies, anti-Semitic propaganda, and forcing these ideas on the youth. The two pictures in the middle and on the far right, those are pictures from posters from the Sun Prairie High School. These are pictures of actual posters that decorate their hallway. And you see the colors match the black the far left. That's the Pan-African black nationalist flag, the same flag that draped the coffin of Khalid Muhammad, the man who said, kill them all. And after you're done with that, go back and kill them, dig them up and kill them again, because they didn't die hard enough. That flag represents what Khalid Muhammad believed in, and what black nationalism believes in, and what the BLM truly believes in. This is Louis Farrakhan. He got away with, after the shooting in that synagogue, nobody mentions Louis Farrakhan. Nobody mentions Louis Farrakhan. They mention Trump, even though Trump has done nothing anti-Semitic, but but shortly before that shooting, did Louis Farrakhan say and liken Jews to termites? He is the leader of the Nation of Islam. He expelled Khalid Muhammad, but only because he knew that Khalid Muhammad was just too open about what he wanted to do. This is Khalid Muhammad. He is the roots of the new Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam. And you see behind him there is the same colors that decorate those posters. The ideology of hate, the Pan-African flag, the Black Panthers, and the Nation of Islam. Armed, militant, violent extremists. Khalid Muhammad was born February 12, 1948, died February 17, 2001. Who footed the bill? Who footed the bill for his? There's his casket right there. That's a picture of his casket. And you see, draped over it is those same colors surrounded by the new Black Panther Party. After being removed from the Nation of Islam, he served as the national chairman of the new Black Panther Party until his death in 2001 from a brain aneurysm. His strong, unapologetic denunciation of white supremacy gained, and this, you see, is from a leftist source. These facts, they say he denounced white supremacy, but he didn't just denounce white supremacy. He said, kill the white man. He said, I was born to give the white man hell, and I will give him hell from the cradle to the grave. And these are the things that are being pushed in our schools. This is the ideology of the new Black Panther Party. We kill the women, we kill the babies, we kill the blind, we kill the cripples, we kill them all. When you get through killing them all, go to the goddamn grave and kill them a goddamn again because they didn't die hard enough. Here we have is a picture of a schedule from Sun Prairie High School. It says Radical Black History, Malcolm X, and the Black Panther Movement. What does it say on the bottom there? This is a quote from Al Sharpton. I have no problem with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. My problem is with Giuliani. It is not Khalid who is talking hate. It's Giuliani. It's Rudy Giuliani. Who's talking hate? When they talk about Black History Month in the 21st century in Madison and Dane County, it is a celebration of the radicalization of African American youth to create not only a chip on their shoulder, but an inherent idea that they have a right to their anger and hate for the white man. This is the equivalent of putting up white power signs and teaching a favorable class on Mein Kampf to sow a divisive seed. And that is the end of the slideshow there, and we'll get into the evils of collectivism in the next installment of this great Greek tragedy that is the American school system. So, believe me when I say that this stuff is toxic, and you saw what those kids were doing in those public school board meetings and those open community commons meetings. Oh, I gotta take this off. There we go. And in the community commons meeting, they were causing a ruckus. They were causing chaos. How long until that chaos, and we saw the shooting in Dallas, how long until that chaos becomes violent, becomes a race war? And that is what they want. Indoctrination camps. And we've seen videos not just a couple days ago, one that's where a girl who was conservative jokingly made a sign where she was trying to get support for putting conservatives in indoctrination camps, right? And concentration camps. And a leftist actually came up to her and said, well, just name it this, and you can get support from the school, and we can push the... And she was serious. She wanted to push these concentration camps. This is the leftist agenda. This is the hate agenda. And if you look at the... if you look at those meetings in the school board, what is that? Remind you of, if you ever read about the Jacobins and the French Revolution, the biggest difference between the American Revolution, a successful, freedom-based individualist-based revolution, rugged individualism versus collectivist hate and anger brought down. So you cannot even express ideas without being shouted down by the masses of racist, hate-filled, chip on their shoulders bigots. People of color that are bigots in these groups. Freedom Inc., you're full of bigots. So are the people that are pushing these posters in Sun Prairie School. So are all the people backing the Black Lives Matter movement. This is not a unifying movement. And yeah, they could say, oh, well, we just want a time to celebrate Black lives. That's fine. But they picked a divisive name because they knew nobody could really challenge it without looking like a racist. Because it's, how could you ever stand against Black Lives Matter? Because it is a smokescreen for Khalid Muhammad and kill them all. That's why I would oppose Black Lives Matter, because Khalid Muhammad said it himself, and he is the spirit that Black Lives Matter represents, and that's why we stand against you, and that's why black, white, red, or brown, we stand against you, because we are the free peoples of the United States of America. To this republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We stand against the Khalid Muhammads of the world, the Hitlers of the world, the Pol Pots of the world, the Mao Zedongs of the world, the Xi Jinpings of the world, the Kim Jong-uns of the world. And though we might have to deal with them, we will never agree with them. We will never be them. Freedom speaks for itself. And when you have a nation that's strong enough to stand up on its own 2 feet and let dictators do their thing in other countries just so their people can see what freedom is versus what dictatorship is, more and more people will embrace freedom of their own free will rather than regime change. So we must understand, to be a strong nation, we must be a nation that has a strong military but does not interfere with other nations for our own agenda. This has been the Freeman Report. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please tune into the next edition, the next expose, and I'll be pushing and promoting the next expose on South Africa, where we talk about the genocide that's going on in South Africa. And if people want to dispute this fact, if black identitarians want to dispute this fact, if the Tariq Nasheeds and the Khalid Muhammad types and the BLM want to dispute this fact, we have interviews of people from South Africa. So this has been Late Night Liberty with Thomas Leaguer. I want to thank you all for watching. You guys make this possible. If you can, support us by buying a shirt. Contact me directly, and you can. We'll make sure that you get a shirt. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you guys. You guys are what makes it possible. Please share, share, share. Have a good night.